Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly for pricing, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. For 2022, Moser Cie launches two different versions of the Endeavour Concept Minute Repeater, 20 pieces in rose gold and 20 pieces, as you see right here, in grade 5 titanium. It is a wearable watch. Given a tourbillon and a minute repeater, you don't expect it to be 40 millimeters in diameter or just 13.6 millimeters thick. It's 47.5 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This might be my favorite Moser watch. It wears beautifully with sharply curved lugs, short across the wrist. It's suitable for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It's thinner than it looks with a sloped case flank and a bezel that is ever so slightly concave. It will slide underneath the sleeve, and being all sapphire and titanium, it is light, airy, and effortless on the wrist. Taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, we have a black large rectangular scale alligator leather strap. You can see that it uses curved spring bars because the lugs are drilled close to the case, which allows the strap to pull straight down with the pivot centers closer inboard than the tips of the lugs, making this watch wear well on a small wrist. But the curved spring bar is used to prevent any impediment to the motion of the strap against the side of the case. The strap is substantial, so you have your large rectangular scale in black with a monotone stitch. You can see there's a sheer cut side profile. There's a lovely suede material in red on the bottom. And here's a feature you normally don't get on Moser watches, a double deployant clasp or deployant clasp of any kind. It is titanium to match the watch. You can see it has a twin trigger release, so it will not pop open accidentally. We have a nice combination of satin and polish right here. And it is a peace of mind to have a clasp like this on a large, heavy, and expensive watch. This isn't heavy, but it is expensive, so that deployant clasp will help guard against dropping your watch. Now, we have a case that is all titanium, but it looks askance to none of Moser's finishing conventions. So the case is still machined and then hand-finished to create these wonderfully deep concaves in the profile of the lugs. We have vertical satin finish. We have a conical crown with a sharp knurling and a Moser M. We have a concave bezel that helps to visually pair the mass of the watch. It looks a little bit trimmer than it is. Note that the bezel swells to a thicker profile at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock to give it a lovely fluid form. And that continues on the case back of the watch, with the sapphire itself, along with the case back, being curved to better anchor on the side of the wrist. Moser cases are hand-finished, which makes them exceptional, even in the high horology space where you'd accept and expect a stamped case. But Moser hand finishes. Take note, a lot of companies only stamp and only machine. Moser hand finishes. But it's the dial that steals the show here. The dial base is made of gold, white gold. It has a lovely hammered-like profile and then several different applications of a translucent vitreous enamel applied. So this is a flinke, a texture with translucent enamel over it. It takes several firings to get what you see here. It also takes several different colors of enamel to get the signature Moser fumé fade from light at the center to dark at the edge. This is known as aqua blue. We have polished and faceted leaf-style hands at center. We have beveled, pointed, and polished minute repeater strikers. We have enormous gongs, and a great deal has been done to improve the internal volume and conduction of sound for this minute repeater. Yes, there's one available in rose gold, but if you want the loudest and best sustain, you want the titanium model right here. Now, Moser does not have all of the faculties necessary to develop a minute repeater in-house, so they went out to MHC Manufacture Haute Complication. So MHC is a company that specializes in chiming watches, and the result is a combination of Moser and MHC that surpasses what either could have accomplished alone. So let's set this watch as close as I can to 1259, which is where you want to set a minute repeater to get the best result, because this is Moser's concept dial. There's no printing, there's no indices, there's no detailing, so I'm going to have to estimate here, but we'll get as close as we can to 1259 so we can hear 12 hours, 3/4, and 14 minutes, and hopefully I get it right. Okay, let's see. All right, as you can hear, it is both vocal and musical. It's not just a loud clanging repeater. It is a sonically superior repeater. And you could see the bridge adjacent anchoring the strikers and how beautifully it's set and finished across its top with pointed beveled edges on the flanks and a lovely consistent rounded mirrored bevel all the way around. You can also see that the strikers themselves are satinated on their sides, black polished on their tops, and then beveled with bevels coming to a point at each end of the striker. Very impressive. A higher level of finishing than even on conventional Moser Tourbillon watches. That said, the best finished component of any standard Moser watch, including the Tourbillon, is the tourbillon structure. The minute repeater here steals the show, but the tourbillon is still quite handsomely executed. You could see it features beveling and satination. It is free sprung with all the adjustment done using variable inertia bolts on the balance itself. Moser, via its in-house subsidiary Precision Engineering, has the ability to make escapements, balances, and hairsprings. It makes all of those here. It's a 1-minute tourbillon beating away at 6 beats per second. It's free sprung for durability and precise setting, and it is a flying tourbillon, so there is no upper bridge blocking your view of the tourbillon regulator. Now turn things over, and again, you get that sort of MHC level of finish. So you have Moser's characteristic use of double-crested Côte de Genève across this HMC 904 movement, but if you look at the beveling, and particularly the sharp inward angles, you could see that this is a much higher standard than even Moser's standard tourbillon watches. You can see that the underpinning of the train from the barrel down to the bridge features a lovely black polished and mirrored bridge, and you can see that on the edge the flanks of the bridge have been skeletonized and then rounded and mirrored all the way across. You'll appreciate that the beveling all the way around on all adjacent structures is a much higher standard than Moser's general machine bevel. We have one golden chaton fixed by screws. That's the pivot for the barrel arbor. Moser wants you to remember that it was a major luxury watch distributor in the era of pocket watches during the 19th and early 20th century. This is a manual 1 movement. It has a 90-hour power reserve, and it is beautiful. It sounds good. It looks good. The watch is wearable, comfortable, rare, and with the addition of the vitreous enamel, it adds a craft art to what is already an act of mechanical virtuosity. Impressively, it's even 30 meters water resistant, which is something not characteristic of minute repeaters or chiming watches generally. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And because I like you, we're going to fire up the repeater again. Fun fact, there are over 400 parts in this movement, and the repeater slide itself operates on a built-in Teflon track.